Dinar and Dong at $4.30, $6.01. Big update from the Redemption Center, June 26. Intel report Iraqi dinar channel intro, RV News format, paragraph only. No headings. Welcome back to RV News, your number one source for everything related to the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and the global currency revaluation. If you're holding IQD or VND right now, pay very close attention, because today's Intel report from June 26 has brought some of the most explosive updates we've heard in months. Redemption Center contacts have confirmed that the new projected rates are now ranging between $4.30 and $6.01 for both currencies. Yes, you heard that right. That means if you've been holding on to your dinar or dong waiting for the right time, this could be your golden moment. Let's dive right into the fresh intel that's emerging from trusted sources inside the redemption process. As of early this morning, June 26, multiple contacts within the redemption network have validated that the high-end contract rates for both the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong are now being logged in banking systems, and they are being tested in real. While this doesn't mean full public access just yet, it does mean the rates are live internally and are being used in trial transactions, including international wire routing systems that are being monitored closely by the Treasury. In several Tier 1 financial institutions, especially those directly partnering with redemption centers across the U.S. and abroad. Tellers and executive banking officials have reportedly been given updated training documentation that includes reference rates for IQD at $4.30 and VND at $6.01. This is the first time we've seen both currencies showing such strength simultaneously in official documentation, and that's a strong signal that coordinated release protocols are now underway. Our contacts have also reported that security has increased dramatically around major redemption facilities, particularly in Texas, Florida, Nevada, and parts of California. These locations are showing unusual after-hours activity, staff rotations, and what appear to be dry-run test redemptions, meaning rehearsals of actual appointments with live rate input and exchange procedure simulations. What makes this even more interesting is that the U.S. Treasury has apparently authorized the use of release windows over the next 48 to 72 hours, with June 26 marked as the beginning of a test phase that could rapidly shift into full public access. We've received confirmation from at least 3 independent sources that the exchange and redemption appointments may begin without public media announcement to prevent overreaction and bank runs. So, if you are part of private groups, keep your notifications on. You may be among the first to get access once the notifications are pushed out. Redemption centers are reportedly preparing for rapid in-processing of currency holders with pre-verified documentation, so having your paperwork ready, such as your currency receipts, valid ID, and any financial disclosure documents is absolutely essential. Now, let's talk about what these rates really mean for you. At $4.30 per IQD and $6.01 per VND. This would place even modest currency holdings into the high 6-figure or even 7-figure payout range. For example, if you're holding just 1 million dinar, your redemption at $4.30 would bring you a staggering $4.3 million before taxes and potential fees. A similar amount in Vietnamese dong at the $6.01 level could potentially yield even more. However, it's important to understand that not everyone will qualify for the top tier or contract rates. These rates are typically available to those who exchange under NDA agreements and are working with structured payout options, particularly those supporting humanitarian projects or asset-backed programs. This brings us to another critical development. Redemption centers are prioritizing appointments based on Tier 4B participation lists. If you've submitted your email to one of the notification or prosperity program groups over the years, you could be on one of these internal lists. Our sources say that as of last night, emails with QR codes and instructions have already begun soft distribution. These codes are designed to give you a direct scheduling link to a redemption appointment, skipping public bank lines altogether. Keep an eye on your inbox, including spam and promotions folders. Some people are already receiving these messages in staggered batches. The emails are being vetted and released in waves to avoid system overload and to maintain security protocols. A major point to understand in today's intel is that Iraq has now fully implemented the final phase of its sovereign digital payment system, a blockchain-based financial framework approved by the CBI and backed by international auditing firms. This system has allowed Iraq to demonstrate full compliance with Basel for banking standards, making them eligible for international rate releases. This is key because without those regulatory standards being met, no country can legally revalue its currency under IMF oversight. With Iraq now compliant and Vietnam moving rapidly into similar regulatory alignment, the pathway for both the Dinar and Dong to revalue concurrently is not only clear, it's highly likely. There's also strong geopolitical backing behind these moves. Recent reports from Geneva, Zurich, and Hong Kong indicate that high-level negotiations between sovereign wealth fund representatives, BRICS financial delegates, and G20 observers have concluded with unanimous support for a synchronized revaluation event. The US and China have both signed off on protocols that allow Tier 1 exchanges to begin in silence before public rollout. These agreements also include protective clauses to prevent market manipulation during the rollout period. This coordination is being led by a special currency revaluation task force operating within the IMF and BIS channels, and their mission is to ensure a stable transition to asset-backed trading standards globally. Additionally, redemption center staff have now received green-lighted protocols for conducting structured payouts. These payouts are designed to disperse funds over time rather than in a single lump sum, helping to protect both the currency holders and the banking system from shock liquidity surges. Participants choosing the structured payout options will be offered higher rates, likely closer to the $6.01 tier for VND, and possibly above $5 for IQD, depending on the size of the holding and the individual's humanitarian alignment plan. If you are planning to go this route, be prepared to explain how you intend to use your exchange proceeds to benefit your community, the environment, or international development goals. The Redemption Center update also mentioned that ZIM bond holders are being asked to prepare documentation related to their project outlines, while ZIM exchanges follow a different structure due to their bond status. It's worth noting that centers processing ZIM are also authorized to process IQD and VND exchanges. In fact, those with a mix of currencies may be fast-tracked, as they are seen as high-level participants with broader financial education. Another important reminder: always stay alert for official instructions and never give your currencies or personal documents to anyone outside a verified redemption facility. Scams are on the rise as this process reaches its peak. Bank staff, particularly in Tier 1 branches, have been instructed to remain tight-lipped but alert. Some Chase and Wells Fargo locations are quietly redirecting inquiries about IQD and VND exchanges to their private wealth departments, and there's evidence that HSBC has begun placing QR code scanning machines in their premier banking rooms, likely in preparation for high-volume private exchanges. There's also chatter that Bank of America has updated its internal platform to allow VND redemptions to appear on client dashboards, post-exchange suggesting real infrastructure is now in place. As for timelines, while no one can give an exact moment when the general public will be invited, all indications suggest we are now within a multi-day window. Some say it could be hours, others say days, but what's clear is that we are no longer months away. The pace of movement, the synchronization of updates across multiple international banking platforms, and the sudden security enhancements around redemption centers all point to one truth: we are in the final hours of preparation. For those wondering about taxation, we continue to recommend that you consult with a licensed tax attorney or CPA before your exchange. While redemption centers will provide guidance, it's your responsibility to protect your wealth long-term. Additionally, many have asked if rates like $4.30 and $6.01 will hold once public exchanges begin. The short answer is that these rates are likely reserved for the earliest tier exchanges and structured participants. Once the public window opens, market rates will likely float lower, but still significantly above current Forex rates. So, if you've been sitting on the sidelines, now is the time to prepare everything. Double-check your ID, make copies of your currency receipts, set up a digital copy of your humanitarian outline, and back it all up on a secure USB or printed folder. Before we close today's report, let's do a brief recap. As of June 26, Multiple redemption center intel reports confirmed that IQD and VND rates are now being processed at $4.30 and $6.01 respectively for select Tier 4B participants. Redemption centers are rehearsing live test transactions. Emails and QR codes are beginning to circulate in soft batches. Tier 1 banks are preparing for structured payouts and non-disclosure transactions. Iraq has finalized its compliance with Basel IV regulations, paving